Reframing Mindset podcast, where I clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity, practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day.
Okay, welcome back to the Frame Mindset Podcast. This episode I'm talking about the myself unless I can actually realize. So thankful. I think this recording. I don't know we're recording on the laptop. We actually recording on the laptop. And what happened is that this new laptop. So this gonna relate. This gonna relate to the file. And it's gonna be like, oh, so I got new laptop out there. If you actually listen to the episode and stuff like that, where they talk about bad downloading games and all those kind of pirate games and all these things. I happen to have some games that I actually store. Talk about transferring storage. Talk about transferring storage, that episode and stuff like that. Transferring storage and stuff like that. And all this kind of relates to thing, but the twin that you're going to realize that, but once I go the right way, I stuff like that and go the right way when I go there. There's actually no benefit of going back. That the other way, like that's the thing that when I go. It's actually going this way. When I realize that there's actually no benefit of going that other way. Like once I actually go take, for example, the legal route or all these stuff, you're gonna realize that the legal route is actually very so far compared to the legal route that's applied on them. So going out of court and doing all this kind of stuff like that, I always think what when she gave her that to her, how she was such a gambler and all that. And then one day she decided to go through that. She said, oh, she's gonna stop. Give her heart and she's gonna stop gambling now. And then from that day until that's what kind of everything I could I seen it. Uh, yeah, Christian and stuff like the university campus. There was something way before that. And when it happened is that something changed them. And when they changed, they never go back. So this was the point I'm trying to get actually doing something going forward. What made you feel so you start gambling now? What made her not over the gambling after she stopped? And then one thing that I realized when I got the new PC, what happened was that I was actually on the new I bought a hard drive and all this stuff and I could because as a old movies and all these stuff that actually drove back in the days and as I'm talking about these stuff in the time of Netflix, Amazon and all this stuff and I talk about trying the premium version of the full version of the product. And what I actually realized was that um look, if you about the struggles and all these stuff to get these one games all these stuff back in my high school days back in my high school days and get these games and play them. Not one of these games, so I'll talk about parking and all these games, but not one that we have the days now when I actually go out and see and buy a CD now, a game CD, and all I had was a computer, and but the CD was for a console. So I buy the game CD, put it into the computer, and it did the work. All these stuff were big rejections on my gaming dreams. Like I say, I wanted all these stuff, and I go through all these stuff and get these things. And it was and then feel and then I remember that the games like for I pirated or whatever. They did come full version, they come in different languages and all these stuff to come all kind of issues. And sometimes the multiplayer doesn't work out. Then Boom Banquet actually got the PS4. Boom got the PS4. They have things like free monthly games, and all these things. And all of the other sign up. And oh, I was actually paid for PSN Plus and stuff like that. I pay for that only I think. Alright, no, I don't remember because I don't have the PS4 right now. But love is that. And this is the thing about we talk about length and all this stuff. But we actually do it all the stuff. You actually get it back. You realize, okay, yeah, you don't take these things one grand to them and not put them to those stuff. So, when I had to get the PS4 and all these stuff, the gaming journey was really worth it because it was once I actually get the game, it was for the PS4. I could play it, and it was so nice and all these stuff. And then walking that I get the PC, and I stopped the pirating stuff, and I started pirating. And then what happened was that boom, I got the new PC recently, and I decided that I have all these. That thing about transferring storage, about changing, like for example, changing Java or whatever, is that you get so comfortable into your role that something happens that breaks you out of the role, and then you have to upgrade. You have to upgrade, and then what happens that when you upgrade, it's latching on to what you had before, and it's like, you have to do all these things to get the new things. And it's like, uh, and this relates to trigger and stuff like that. And these stuff, when I see these stuff actually happen, I'm seeing, okay, it's giving away all this stuff. Another way, maybe giving away all this stuff, maybe I'll quick, it's not this stuff. Sell it all. Stuff like that. That's what I recently just reading quickly, and all this stuff, like, oh, these are the small steps towards that thing. It's like, oh, yeah, these are small things that happen. Like, oh, yeah, all of a sudden you see like change person. It's like, oh, yeah, this person. It's like, boom, this was adult. This is all you would have adult. What it really is adult. And how it makes sense into the real world. How it makes sense into the real world. So, boom, she was like, yeah, this is the worst thing to do. Actually, never go gambling again. Never go the wrong way again. Always like each other from the others are partial and all these stuff. But what happened, what I actually realized was that when I realized it, once I get a taste, that feels right after they try the free premium version of a thing, you have it as some free version of a premium version of the thing. But once you try, and then you lose privilege and all this stuff. And they say, you know what, I'm gonna go back the other way. I'm gonna tell you about what to reward pride. You're going to actually realize that that other way was really the stress that they actually go through to get that other thing, the other way, like my priority even talking about it is fast like, oh days downloading games and for like 5%, and then go home. I go home, and then no, I would say I'm gonna download a game, go back home and do this 5%. I experience all of those stuff. I experience all of those things, and just to say that, okay, yeah, sometimes it's actually right to sit down and wait. Sit down and actually wait for the full version. Wait for the right thing. Actually sit down and wait for the right thing. Don't go the wrong way. Sit down and actually wait for the right thing. Because what happens that actually get the right thing, the stress don't the stress don't come. I get the full version of it and all these stuff. And it's like, oh yeah, I enjoy it. And it's finished. That's it. So that's it. That's the funny thing about everything. Everything about why first just go. I mean, like, oh, they usually do this. And it's like, oh, and then all of a sudden, you hear that they actually stop. You hear that they after stuff, and then you never hear of the people tell you like what happened. Just like for example, trying the free version of trying the premium version of a product. Once you try and then I go back to the other way, you're gonna realize that oh yo, that that other way is really subpar, really subpar to everything else. So you're gonna realize that yo, you actually do this subpar to everything else. But what happens is that the thing about it is that on this journey, the good thing is that the freedom you have the freedom to try both ways. That's the funny thing about it. When after you try to both ways, you get it when you see me on the other side, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, this is why you actually see us on the other side. That's the reason why you actually see us on the other side because we actually went that way. You heard all the stories about that way. And it's like, yeah, but it's best to actually come and wait to to get these stuff. That's the reason why we're like, oh yeah, come in, find out what the actual like and all this stuff. And you the right way to be like, oh yeah, that's what this stuff will be like, oh, in the very stuff. Love money. They love of money is the root of all evil. So it's like money is a thief or anything like that. It's a love of money and all this stuff. So just like with everything, like, oh, yeah. Boom. And then growing up, you'll be like, oh yeah, money is a terrible, is a terrible master. It was actually but it's a good servant, but a terrible master or something. But yeah, I mean, yeah. So that was the basically it with that actually what I went through getting the new laptop. Oh my god, this laptop is so advanced. Oh my god, so advanced, and I see this stuff is so advanced. And what I realized is that I get this advanced laptop. I was out there saying I'm going to go on and read on this. When I get some old things on the PC, like when I get some old movies that I actually was watching, that somebody even back in the days when you just download it on. I was like, oh yo, you actually do it, and I realized that yo, no. After actually opening the game and stuff like that, it's like, oh yeah, wow, this is actually really so far. So it's actually really so far stuff. And the reason why it's so far is because what they say in the computer technology age, just like with everything talk about credit cards or anything like that, there are scammers and all these stuff. So just like in the pirating world, when you actually pirate a game and stuff like that, you can have things like virus, all of these stuff, virus and everything like that. So when you come in like that these are the simple things like oh yeah. And after it's code and I see the service will live in that life and all these things. You'll be like, oh, these are the reasons why I see what's always so using the full like for example, when I see what's using the full version of this and all these stuff. Paying the cost to use all these stuff rather than do than like oh yeah because we actually the risk of actually doing it with other way is is way more stress. You always on the other thing, also watching your back and all this stuff. You always that no, you actually just do this stuff the right way. And I was like, oh yeah, I actually like it. Do this stuff the right way. And then when I actually get it, when I come to everything is there. Everything we actually get it. We get it in the full version and all this stuff. We get the full experience of the stuff. And then when once we get the full experience of the stuff, the next aspect of it is that the reusable value of it. Where we like, oh, you know, I can actually give this to somebody. Um, the more you actually do this stuff with it, the more I can actually give this to somebody. Make a profit off it and all that, something like that. I can actually do this stuff. Look and be like, oh, yeah, I'm actually do that. I can actually do this. Just like, for example, this new laptop, I'm just recording this now. So, maybe I have my stuff now. Just like with everything. Like, oh, yeah. boom, after a while, this was actually from and all this stuff. Who eventually see me also because I can't afford my own stuff and afford everything of my own stuff. And when I say afford everything, I'm like, yeah, this is actually my this is my thing. It's not living that life, living my life. So it's living the full version. And like, what? Oh, why the hell? That go really cost to do the cost. So yeah, we live in the full version life. Basically, if we live in the full version life, is because all these stuff, we're going to realize that it took you living the adult life to see that um, if it pays, it's really worth it. That's the reason why sometimes we like, oh yo, when I talk about car and all this stuff, that is again and all these things. So we're like, oh yo, it really pays to actually be on the right side of it. Car opens that no matter how much you see crime lord, federal, all these stuff, federal bureau, all these people is coming down on you. Is that bro, you always know when you're on the right side. So it's like the only thing they could actually be doing is wasting their time. The only thing they could actually be doing is the only thing is that they could actually be also wasting time paying people to actually do this stuff. When they actually have the right side of the line. They're wasting time paying people to do stuff. But you know they are but hey, at the same time we were actually on the other side as well. So it's like but that's a funny thing I like call it. I mean after I changed trying the full version out. So it's like so that's the lesson trying to went to this thing I be like oh yo. Got the new laptop and I was after trying to be like oh bring my old ways to the new laptop and after doing these stuff the old bringing my old ways to the new laptop made me actually made me actually understand the lesson of the grammar language technology that we have been honest. All of a sudden she stopped and all of a sudden she you know to this day she could confidently say that she actually did it do vocabulary after that. I was like, why? No, I actually understand this right with everything. It's actually not word. When you actually do get the thing the right way, the work and you get the product and you realize, oh my god, this product is actually yours. It's actually yours. You're putting your hard work and sweat and all this stuff. Put in hard work and sweat and you get it. You'll be like, oh my god, you get it. And it's like, oh my god, this was so hard to get and all this stuff. But once you get it, it's yours. At the point, it's the point you know actually get it. The thing is, it's actually yours. But not only that, you know how to get it again. So then we're like, oh my god, I'm going to work for 50 years to get it again. You know, 50 years I came like find a way to get it. In 25, then boom, 10, then all this, then because what happens that you do this stuff in the right way, and then people are like, oh, yeah, or the hell you want to get it. So, to be honest, actually, you did see the needs, you actually saw the you did see the needs, to put in the work to get these stuff to the right way once. So, all of us are like, you put in the right way once, then all of us are just compare, just make us want it. And even my happiness, I know because of this. That's sometimes myself because these what happens that when I actually get this stuff the right way, you're gonna realize that this funny thing of the podcast is hear about the struggle to get this stuff. They hear about the struggle of actually getting this stuff. So when I see for example, they hear the good quality of the service and that was actually something yeah. You could actually hear me coming and say you could hear the days like when I usually say something like for example, oh yo, I have to stop this episode now because look for the close ones. You can hear, you will actually hear these stuff. Just like for example, I can actually, like for example, movies, these stuff. Yeah, people are gonna buy up. As a people was living that thing about it, like going to these studios, so be like, people also living a life that you can't even follow and walk with that. You don't realize that with everything the first thing is the first thing to acknowledge is to say that the people is living the life that you can't even follow. They actually work for them. So like yeah, that's the point thing. I actually go and see them living that life to say that when they actually see us living that life, oh they're rich, calling us rich, or whatever it's like you actually work for the life that you actually going out and you're actually going out and work for the life that you live. So sometimes be like, oh yeah. I do this. I actually have the goals and aspiration for the podcast and all this stuff. And on the journey of unforeseen circumstances happen on this journey. Like, oh yeah, the unforeseen things happen. It's like, oh yeah, even the unforeseen things was the best thing that could actually happen because on the journey. When you actually get the full word, get everything and get everything right. You see you also living the ideal life and it's like, oh yeah. Because we actually was living the opposite. We were actually also living the opposite. Like, I feel like, oh, yo, yeah, maybe this was worth. And I was like, oh, yeah, this was actually not the way. It was actually not the way. And that's the point thing. Even this is actually somewhat way in a way better position than before. Still contemplating buying stuff and all this. So, like, all of that. Even though there's a better situation, it's still in the mindset of, of, of shortage, not in the mindset of abundance. So, but this is a lesson. This is a lesson. When you actually reach this level, actually reach this level, you'll be like, oh, if you were a person who was on the other side of the door, or whatever, and be like, I'm crying, I'm gambling, or whatever. And then all of a sudden you see yourself you see a person, you go legit, you go legit. And I'm not sure I'm legit for it. You will actually realize that once you try, no matter how you go back to the other place, it's going to be like everything. It's going to be 10 times flop. It's going back to the crime ways, it's actually going to be like you go back to the ghetto. In like, that's the reason, and that's pretty about the episode. Um, and hear about the days when after I was living the life in the university and stuff. And then half a sudden they hear me out, they say, not good. They see me out in adulthood, and then every time I'm in adulthood, I want to create this thing. Even though people are second comment and all this stuff always say, oh my god, what are you going to do with a degree and all this stuff? The great thing about it is that I actually passed the struggle of saying that I don't have a degree. That's the funny thing. I don't have to think about it. Sometimes be like, oh my god. With that, oh, you after a process, so I give you have to think about it. And the only thing I could actually think about is actually being all those people and all this. A pass that worse. So that's the funny thing about the thing. Be like, oh, yeah. We have to listen to it and say, oh, yeah, we have to do this. We have to, you hear me after. Once after you listen to this, we have to, we actually get this stuff already. So you actually live in the experience and learn it from it. So now they're like, oh, no, I understand why I'm going to never go back to gambling and all this stuff because it's like maybe in our gambling leagues, just like for example, you were talking about my 20 game and all this. Oh, yeah, that was actually a subpar like that, that's everything. I mean, that was actually really maybe actually a subpar like compared to everything compared to everything else. But just like you have to actually live. You have to actually live it to say, wow, bro, that was actually really a subpar. That was actually really subpar. Uh, and the embarrassment and all this stuff, it was actually worth it. It was actually worth it to say, well, no, that was actually a waste of my life to say that. But after that, I had to live that life to say, yeah, we don't think about those things. We don't think about those things. It's just that we're smart enough to acknowledge that, yeah, those were very so far life. We go back and we look back down on those days and be like, just like with everything you have to do. That's the funny thing, after I talk about the customer service days and all this stuff. But yeah, you never know. You never know that you're trying to go back to them. Even though I feel like, well, it's nice living that life. You never know that sometimes you feel that I never really go back to those customer service days because of things that after you get all the message from it. It's like, oh yeah, that was actually a song for our life. To these days, it's like, oh yeah, that was actually a song for our life. That's why I talk about everything I talk about overtime. It's not always talk. There's some people also working 10 times overtime and all this stuff. This kind of actually based to a new episode. See, I don't want to say, but when people are working overtime and all this stuff, when I realize that the overtime thing is not actually not always it's a privilege. You're supposed to get more people actually overtime. But if you're always doing that every day, bro, living, living for that, living for the high, bro, living for the high, bro, that means that you're actually you're actually really, way below the, way below the level, living way below the level. So that means that oh, you have to actually go back to the dopamine fast episode where we like, oh yeah, stop social media, everything like that. Go back and reevaluate where you are in life. You have to go back and grab back to that. Oh, hey, I'm here. What the hell am I supposed to do now? But I'm supposed to go with a classmate. Every day, you know, it's clapping for all of them. I'm trying to find where I'm at. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm supposed to actually working at some a good amount of money. It's like, I'm not supposed to be doing all that time. Supposed to, I'm supposed to be I'm supposed to be doing under time. I'm supposed to be doing under time. Coming in and doing nothing like this, so just chilling up and all this stuff. But that's the funny thing about the core episodes. The core episodes, the basic core episodes are there, and then you see me just living that life. That's like what happened. It's like oh, yeah, it's actually that those core episodes that's actually coming back in the days that coming and be like oh yeah, it's what actually feels like the thing that is like like all that. It's it's like trying to download some games, it's about all that's actually that is actually not working. That is actually the software. The best for me to actually go that sadly I have to take get away on the road to get but actually knowing that okay I should actually get the game for PC. That's why they have things like Steam, they have things like Steam and all these stuff. Like, oh, no actually I have to go to work and get the game for PC. So no, I don't have to go and be like, oh, I'm gonna work on Target and all this stuff. And be like, oh, no. No, I know that when I actually work and get the money, I must buy it. If I have a laptop, I must buy the thing for laptop. I have a console, I must buy the thing for console. And all this stuff. I don't have to actually go and do this stuff. But it took me, so you don't have to go the wrong way and all this stuff. You just have to actually remember, okay, I'm supposed to buy the thing for the for the right deal. If you are looking for mobile, you must buy it for mobile. Yeah, it does like that's the thing with everything. That you must actually buy the right product for the right platform, for the right platform. So when you're actually buying it for the right platform, all the stress about it. So bad luck don't really give you an argument. You never hear this. You never hear about what happens. You use the core principle, budgeting, lifestyle, lifestyle inflation and all these stuff like that. You have to check and say, okay, this is what we have. It's with a laptop, with a PC, some PS4. Maybe I will get my PS4. I'm like, okay, I want my PS4 again. Now I'm going to buy games for all these stuff. And there's some buy games for every PS4 I play. And what happens is go back to the next episode will be like, transferring storage. Once you see me is do something like, okay, now you see me is going, I'm going to spend my money and I need a PS5. They're gonna be like, oh, what happened? What happened? You're gonna realize that thing about cross compatibility or whatever. You're gonna realize that, oh, yeah, the same thing, the same, I can get the same game again on the other thing, plus being a better version of this stuff. Oh, but I see it, I just basically buy the new version of the thing that came out. That's the change of the game that we got by the new version of the game. It's incomplete. It's like what happened? We didn't. It's like, oh, we didn't change. We just buying the new version of the thing and transferring storage. But the first thing is actually acknowledging that this is the actual stuff that we actually need. These are actual stuff that we actually needed. And then we transfer storage. Then we actually the next thing is to actually get rid of our stuff. That's the next thing. Get rid of the old stuff. And they actually realize that, then you see we all this other video. And like if you also living that life. All of a sudden you see me, you hear about the whole stories. You hear you heard of those stories. And then all of a sudden you're gonna hear. That's what happened. You heard of those stories. Heard of it. And it's like you never heard of it. And it's like, what happened? It's like, because you just never went back to live. You just have a core principle. That core principle. It took a while, even when after all this is doing it, you feel that even I was questioning myself. And then what happens that you see myself living it. And what happens that I see myself living it, you realize that, okay, oh, it was actually working. And what happens that you will realize that because I was actually using this core principle, what what a person you see you always be like, oh my god, I work. You see me that same days and the same job for 45 years. You see that. You actually you come to see that kind of I maybe into that better from the is that, why is that? Because when I try going, it's clear that it's more clear that what I actually going to do for myself. Oh, no, I'm not this when I make money now. I want to buy games. Actually, I want to go and buy games and all this stuff. No, I'm actually go and buy games. Anyway, I want to buy games on PC, console, and all this stuff. And all this stuff. I want to buy this and all this stuff. All these stuff are clear. You don't go here and you don't even think about it. It's like, oh, now we actually get this clear. And it's like, oh, no, we have to try to go down and like, oh, we might go to the official side. We don't even go think about going out of place. Like, go to, we don't even think about it. It's like, oh, yeah. Then we have to go down and just get the stuff. No, 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 nothing like that. Is no, we don't. We, what happens is that the other way is there. That's the point. The other way is there. And legal side is always there. And you see how it's a living legal. But you just never see how it's a living. And it's like what happens that the family actually knows. When you see what's not living that, you're gonna the family itself knows why your person not living that way. Just like for example, the other side, me and it's like, oh, that's it. And then what happens is that you're gonna realize that, oh, everybody in there you are related to like, oh, yeah, everybody else is related to my mistake, right? You're going through a whole lot of better and see you want to feel worship and all these good stuff.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.